Hey everybody, I just thought I would do something different, a little bit of a different angle, a little bit of a different vibe, whatever, and go down my 12 most influential guitarists of all time. And when I say that, I mean the 12 most influential on me. Everybody's going to have their own group, everybody's going to have their own picks. I'm not even saying these guys are the greatest guitar players on planet Earth. I'm just saying the ones that helped form, shape, and influence me as a musician and the ones that made the biggest impact. I'm going to divide this into two groups, by the way. The minors and the majors. The minors had a bit of an impact. I listened to them, borrowed here, a little bit there. Then you got the majors, the guys that I was like, wow, and really made an impact. And I'll have them in like their own separate category. So, without any more ado, let's roll. Okay, I'm going to throw in one honorable mention, which I guess makes it 13. But he was almost on the list, and he was somebody that I really thought was cool. And that is the almighty Mick Ronson. Yes, what would Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders of Mars have been? What would David Bowie have been without ever bumping into and working with the almighty Mick Ronson? Beyond being a great player, he was such an arranger and all that other kind of stuff, and the work he's done for other people is just amazing. So, without saying any more, there you go. The almighty Mick Ronson. Okay, now we're going to get into the official list of guys. What more can I say? Coming in on this minors category is, of course, Slash. Yes, he was big in the 80s. We all listened to Guns N' Roses, at least the first three albums. I guess you would count Use Your Illusion twice. But it is what it is. On Appetite, those two things, and a little bit of Lies, that is where the vocabulary stands. He impacted everybody from that era, or most people, and you could not deny the fact that he could lay down some perfect solos for some great songs, a lot of them written by Izzy Stradlin, and he was the right guy in the right place at the right time. So you gotta give him his props. Slash. Next on my list, how could you have been a rock and roller who listened to the 70s and grew up in that era and the 80s without acknowledging Uncle Ted? I mean, come on, Ted Nugent, Stranglehold alone would put him in the pantheon of guitar players. But all the other great riffs that he did, and even when he was playing with the damn Yankees, some of that stuff is borderline friggin' shred and amazing. Ted was a beast of a guitar player. Still is, actually, even though he's older than dirt now. A beast of a guitar player. One of the all-time legends. So, in there, the Nuge himself. Next up in my minors category was a major, insane talent. We are talking about the one and the only Ritchie Blackmore. Come on. The precision, the arrogance, the swagger of a guy who knew he was never going to hit the wrong note. Blackmore was the shit. He looked the part. He was mysterious. He was dark. He was always one of those guys that was never really accessible, but look at it. Ritchie Blackmore was a monster guitar player. When I would listen to him over and over again, I'm like, if I ever got this good, I think I would probably never play again because I'm like, okay, I've hit the pinnacle. There's nothing for me left to do. The Blackmore. Here's a guy that almost made the majors list. I mean, oh man, I've listened to this guy so many times. And I know he got hit with the pretty boy image and all that shit. But time has kind of corrected that. We are talking about the one and only Peter Frampton. Come on, his blues, jazz influenced lines, all the stuff that he used to throw on those records. Amazing. I'm not just talking his early stuff like Frampton Comes Alive. He did a self-titled record. I think it was in 93, 94, somewhere in that ballpark. Amazing. Just listen to it. The playing, everything on it. Frampton was a major guitar talent and a major influence. And I'm just glad I had all the music to listen to. Next up on the list, how can you ever throw down without throwing out the purple one himself? Yes, Prince. Yes, thought of as a multi-instrumentalist. Yes, thought of as somebody who could play this, that, and the other and write incredible pop songs, but you cannot not acknowledge the fact that that man was a wicked guitar player. And the fact that he would play not just wicked rock guitar, but funk guitar, blues guitar, all that kind of stuff. The guy had it going on. You listen to him and you're just like, Jesus, this guy shouldn't be that good if he's that good a piano player and bass player and all that other kind of shit. It is what it is. Prince was a beast. I've listened to him a million times over. Can't say enough. You got to put him in there. And finally, on the last of my minor influences, is another guy who, if you listened to the way he played, he was vicious. The sound, the tone, the fact that he's using an old Squier guitar, we are talking about the one and only, the late, great Jeff Healey. That guy was a machine. Forget the fact that he was blind. I know everybody's like, oh my God, look how he's playing, look how different it is, he's blind, he's blind. I don't give a shit about all that. Listen to the way the man played. Balls out blues rock guitar playing at the highest level. This guy was a machine, and he can go on and on and on and on and on, and it would never get repetitive or stupid. Jeff Healey belongs way up there, and for me, he is way up there. Always will be, just the way it goes. Okay, now we're talking about my 6 major guitar influences, the guys that really made an impact on me as a player. And if you hear me play, you're going to hear these 6 guys more than anybody, all thrown in there, I guess you could say. Is what it is. Let's roll. First off, Marco Pirroni. Oh yeah, the sleaze, the power chords, sometimes the crazy little like Dwayne Eddy country licks that he would throw in there. Just loved it. 10 years old when that guy just came on the scene in my life, and I was like, oh my God, that's what I gotta do. This dude is the shit. Yeah, it helped they had those great Barumbi drum beats and shit going behind it, but for me, Pirroni, legend. Up next, the one, the only, the recently gone, Paul/Ace Frehley. Yes, come on. All those Kiss records. All that stuff. The fact that his licks were kind of accessible and easy and just very kind of basic, but he made them work. He would just use that vibrato, shake the shit out of those notes, and come up with something that was just magic. You listen to those early Kiss records, you can't picture or hear any other guitar player in your head playing those solos, playing those tunes, and the fact that he wrote great songs. You know what I mean? Parasite, come on. Shock Me, get out. He had some great shit. Up next on the list, the only guy that was like an 80s shredder, George Lynch. 110%. This guy was the shit in my eyes. The chords that he would use, the way he soloed, the exotic sounds to it. There is a video of him out there doing Mr. Scary from whatever concert. I can't remember. I'll probably put the link below or something. That is probably the most impressive, devastating piece of guitar work I have ever seen, heard, or listened to in my 55, whatever, 6, whatever the hell I'm coming up on, years of life. It was like, holy shit. That is frightening. That man is in the zone. He is one of the most lethal guitar players I've ever heard. Yes, there was other guys. I know you had Rhodes, and I know you had Van Halen. I know you had those guys. But when you put together the ferocity, the exoticness, and the sound that he would get, Lynch. Next up, when I first started playing guitar, this was literally the guy I probably emulated the most for the first 2 years. All I wanted to be was a phenomenal rhythm guitar player. After like a year and a half, I said, well, why don't I just start playing lead and learning all the scales and all this other kind of shit? Yes. But at the time, my idea of the ultimate guitar player was Pete Townshend. Come on. Just those big power chords, the swinging arm. His lead work was kind of, it was what it was. But his chord game was insane. I wish I still played a lot more like him than I do now, because back then I could just blast out any kind of chord. It was all from listening to Pete Townshend and the way he played, the swagger, the energy, the vibe, the rage. Pete Townsend was a major influence on me, always will be, and still to this day, I do everything on a strum. Pete Townsend was like a strummer, and I do everything on a strum. I can play the most chuggy, chuggy, chuggy type of music in the world, but I do it on a strum, and it gives it a rolling sound and a little bit of a different vibe, because everything I did for the first several years of playing was on that that kind of a strum thing, and I can't shake it. It's baked into the cake. Oh, we're almost to the top. We only got 2 more to go. The one, the only, Brian May. Listen, I know he had a kind of a unique sound. That was important. I know he had a band around him that was just phenomenal. Okay, that matters. But the fact that he wrote these songs, these solos within songs, I should say, that literally you could sing to. You could hear them in your head. That's why I never wanted him to deviate a note. When he played live, it's like, Brian, play it like the record, because the record was perfect. Don't go off into La La Land. Stay on track, because those solos were songs within themselves. When you listen to the solo to Killer Queen, I don't want to hear you go apeshit crazy during a show and ad-lib and flourish it up and do it. No. That solo was perfect. All those solos were perfect. If any guy on this list had an ability to constantly write perfect solos for the songs he was playing to, it would have to be Brian May. And finally, yes, you've heard me bring his name up before in other videos, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I don't care that he's not the world's most famous guy. I don't care. But Ty Tabor, without a doubt, probably more than anybody, shaped the way that I looked at a guitar and play it. When I heard him play a guitar, I'm like, holy shit. The whole drop D thing, the whole way that he could get a sound and a tone that would make a guitar sound massive. A guitar, not 2 guitars, not a couple of rhythm guys playing together. One man alone. The stuff that he could do, those old, like almost bluegrassy type chords, the finger chords, everything that he could do was so much above and beyond what the other guys on the scene were doing. And then you throw in the heavy sludginess of it too, along with great technical ability. It was insane. And he was one of those guys too that when I was younger, the whole idea of controlling the sound of your guitar completely with a volume knob. It's like you don't have to, if you set your amp right and your guitar right, you can just roll the volume up and down and go from clean to unbelievably heavy just with that, if you know how to set your shit up right. And he was that guy. Ty Tabor, for me, now and forever, King of the Mountain is what it is. All right, folks, if you're guitar players, if you're into music, throw out the kind of guys that you really liked and you really listened. All right, everybody, be good, take care, stay out of trouble. Kind to a stranger, there for a friend, and most of all, never, ever, ever, ever take any bullshit from anybody. Have another video with a movie review coming up soon. Catch you then.